All right. I think my first installation on this kayak that I can't wait to get going is that I have bought the power pole, micro power pole stern mount. You can get these. Just about everything I got was from Eco Fishing Shop. I'm going to tell you all that. Just about everything, including the fish finder. But I got this. It's a stern mount that goes on the port stern side, and this is the mount that's gonna, attach your mounting bracket for your micro power pole. But I also bought some T-Track wings, I think they call them. I'll put the description down below. But I'm going to show you what I've run into. There might be a fix to this, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to, personalize it. We'll call it personalize this puppy. All right, again, I am at the stern port side on my XTR. This is the bracket that goes for your micro power pole. And I'll show the installation of this bracket in itself. But let me adjust this. Oops, sorry about that. So this goes, so you can mount it again. It goes directly with these screws, with the already. You just gotta remove these out of the way. Try not to drop everything. Gotta remove those. This will attach here. Now, one thing the problem that I had was I bought this extension plate. This extension plate also utilizes these two screws. Now, one thing that came with this extension plate is some spacers. All right. So if this plate was not here, it's pretty simple. We're pretty good at it. That spacer would fit under there like so. You could see it. But what I'm going to do is I just measured out the thickness of this plate. We'll cut this spacer down to size, put it here, and utilize both at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've already marked where I need to cut it. I don't know if you could see, it's about 3/4 of the way up. So once I get that right, I'm going to mount everything together. All right, what I did was grabbed a good pair of heavy-duty construction scissors. Got a good cut on there. Of course, sometimes it was not perfectly straight, but I kind of like it not to be perfect. And there's a reason. I want it to have a little bit of give, so when I tighten these screws down, it's going to act as a little bit more of a dampener back here. So it will look something like this. I think it turned out really, really good. I'll go through the rest of the install and we'll get it working. All right, so you learn from your mistakes. So again, we want to attach this micro power plate stern mount from Bonafide. Again, everything I purchased, you guys know where I got it from. I'll put a link to it. But remember, the challenge that I had was that I have this plate and I have that. So I installed some of this already, realizing I forgot to do one critical step that you need to do. One thing, first of all, they come with great instructions. QR code, you can watch the video. But again, the challenge that I had was I didn't see any instructions on this piece where you had bought two. I bought the wings that will attach extra T-tracks and this. But they have these little inserts. They're starred. And remember, I'm wanting to put this mount towards the center, so I'm utilizing these holes right here. So I have to use these inserts so that my Allen screw, and one thing that I'm going to do right now just to do a double check on it is that they match up, and I'm sure they do. Yeah, they do. So that comes with the mount for the micro power pole that I already had. But what you're going to have to do is hammer just slightly. You're going to have to grab where you want those inserts to be placed, and you're going to hammer down so that these are flush. And you do that I'm sorry, just so everybody understands, you do that from the bottom. The bottom has, it's recessed. So these are gonna fit in there just nicely. And then when you screw from the top, it'll be just fine. So let me go ahead and do that. We'll get these installed. So I'm gonna utilize these 4 holes from the bottom, and I will probably pause and do this on the floor so I have a firm spot to put it on. All right, I'm back. Took no time. Them being recessed really helps out a lot. Of course, using the universal tool, I love this little hammer because it was flat, and I was able to get them down there because you want to make sure that they are flush. So now I have the inserts good to go. So when I do flip it over and start the mounting process, those are in. I'm going to be able to attach my screws with no problems to the inserts that I put in place. But of course I can't put that in just yet because I still remember I have to drill these 3 spots, and that's going to cover up some of that to mount it in here. You can't see it maybe for this angle, but you do have a stern plate that I'm going to have to remove so I can get my hand in there, go up underneath, and tighten it down, I think, with the 7/16 wrench. So, all right, now that we have, again, those inserts mounted, now I want to take those 2 spacers that come with it that I had to cut because of the width of the mounting plate and this. I'm going to place these just kind of like so, just so I can see the holes. And I am going to attempt to thread these in here. Easier said than done. All right, I got those in there. One thing you want to do is make sure you don't tighten these down too much. Remember, you still got T-tracks that you have to mount up front. Trying to show you a little bit. Yeah, you got these T-tracks you're going to have to mount. Make sure you get your the goodies in there, because if not, you'll be like, oh man, I got to take it apart again. So what I do is just kind of line these up just a little bit more on the outside than anything else. And again, if you just bought this extra T-track to install on your XTR and not running a power pole, you have no worries. It's going to work. But I run a micro power pole. I think it helps me be efficient in certain areas. Just like everything, it's a tool. So about the lakes, I'm tightening this down on the current T-track that was installed with the XTR. There's still plenty of T-track still left. I only used up a portion of it, but I'm gaining all of this. And I plan on using it. Could be from cameras, it could be from my 360 light, which actually I'm using a Guardian now that I really absolutely love. That Guardian light kit is super, super bright. So that's probably what I'll be doing. But now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to loosen these up just a tad bit. Hey, you learn from your mess ups, right? I'm going to slide this forward. I like it all the way seated towards the back because then it's flush back here. So now I'm going to tighten her down. And what this is allowing me to do now is that I'm starting to see where I got to line up and drill these holes on my kayak. So, all right, that portion's done. Now, again, pretty important. Comes with all the hardware. I've already mounted it on this side, this stern micro power plate along with this wing. Now I need to install this to the XTR. So what I'm going to have to do is get a drill, and I am going to drill out some holes with this attached hardware here. All right, we're continuing to move out. Again, had the challenge of mounting these extra winged T-tracks to the XTR on top of the mounting plate for your micro power pole, the stern mounting plate. And man, I'll tell you what, I hardly have this thing. I'm shaking the camera. This thing's sturdy just by using these right here. But of course, we're going to have to make, we made that adjustment by cutting those spacers again. But now what I'm going to have to do is unscrew this so I can drill holes in these 3 mounting areas, so I'm firmly mounting this stern mount plate for the micro pole. 2 here, and then these 3, right? And then I'll put the mount for the power pole itself on here, because I've already, remember, hammered in those inserts. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to remove this here. That is done. Again, it was recommended. I think it was Salty Skiff or something. Oh no, it was Bonafide. I'm sorry. Salty Skiff has really helped me out a lot too, whether they know it or not. But 1/4 inch drill bit. When I tightened this down, I want to make sure that, I tell you, it is flush right back here. It's looking really, really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drill. Worst thing you in my experience is drilling holes in a kayak, a brand new kayak. So I always make sure that, you know, double check everything. Make sure that you get it right. What do they say? Measure twice, but I think on a kayak you want to measure 3 times. And I just want to make sure. Boy, I tell you, she didn't move. Of course, I don't have the tension on here very tight on my my drill, so that way I'm not going to over torque anything. So now my next step is to go ahead and drill these 3 holes. All right, those holes are drilled. Of course, it always makes me cringe, but yeah, it is what it is, right? So after that, of course, it comes with the hardware, like I said. I believe it was a 7/16. Yep, thank you, Bonafide. Right on the money, 7/16. So I'm going to have to go up underneath. One thing that it does come with, and I believe these are the rubber washers, and I like putting these up on the underside because really they're not meant for up top. 1/4 inch was the right size, so thank you, Bonafide, for that tip there. Now what I'm going to do is get my hand in here and put these rubber washers on here. One side of this rubber washer, one side is rubber, the other side is metal. So I'm basically putting the rubber against the kayak when I tighten it down. I think what that'll do is help expand it and protect the underneath of the kayak, as well as you can see what I was talking about. You got black and you got metal. I think it helps secure this. But you know, I'm not the smallest guy in the world, but I can tell you this is real easy to get to. It's not hard. So that's on there. I'm gonna go ahead and install my lock nuts on here. And really, this is real close to being, as far as the mount itself is real close to being, finalized. All right, I can tell you this is tight. It is not going nowhere. It is I'm moving the whole kayak, as you can probably see from the camera angle. But now that that's done, all that's left with this is to mount my bracket on here. Remember, your curved end, this curved end is going to go forward towards the bow. I've already installed the inserts that you're going to need. Now all I have left to do is to install my screws in order. There we go. So again, I hope this helps you out. And and you're going to be able to go out there and get some water therapy with the best of us. All right, folks, there it is, finished product. Again, just recapping, I had a problem when I got this extra one objective, extra T-tracks for my XTR. Of course, I got plenty, but this is going to add a little bit more because I also have the micro power pole mount, and they utilize the same mounting screws in the back. So all I had to do was cut down that spacer to make it true to size with the width of the plate and this, as it comes with the hardware. And of course you saw that earlier. And then there you go. I drilled my holes 1/4 inch, 7/16 nut underneath it. Screwed that down tight. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, and there's one underneath here. And of course you can see that it mounts just perfectly. So there you go. There you have it. Now I have the extra T-track and I have my micro power pole. Now let's move on to the next. All right, folks, I installed my starboard side extra T-track for my XTR130. I wish I would have had this one. Actually, I'm glad I didn't have this. This one went on so easy. I mean, it took all of maybe 3 minutes to install. All the attaching hardware was here. I removed the screws that initially came with the XTR. The one objective provided me new screws and a spacer that goes up underneath, as you can see here. Then I placed the T-tracks in here, tightened it down, done. A lot different than what I had to deal with over here, and that's just because I installed the micro power pole on there. So hopefully this helps you. I'm looking forward to getting this on the water, as all of us are, but I'm glad to have these extra T-tracks on here.